Islam, Peace, Hotel. This is a Canaanland Moors exclusive Saturday class. It came about due to some issues that our temple was dealing with, and issues that our temple was dealing with some other Moors. Considering that there's no class tomorrow, we figured that we'll put this information out today, just so that we can get the information out, right? We'll go back to coming into this Moorish movement. It's something that has been spoke about before, but we're gonna reiterate something. We came into the Moorish movement under the teachings of active Moors, right? We're not even gonna deal with names and whatever like that. We're just gonna deal with faithful, active Moors, right? That's how we came in, right? And the Moors that brought us into the Moorish movement, they instilled in us, before we nationalized and all that, that if we get down with this information, similar to the little intro conversation with Morpheus and Neo, right? Know that we're getting into something that we aren't really, experiencing yet. Like the process, you have to proclaim your nationality, you're not Negro, black, colored, you're Moors or whatever. That's all good, but this thing goes way deeper than you're ever gonna even think that this can go, right? When we were in Chicago, when we were in Mecca with the active, faithful Moors that brought us into the movement, we were dumbfounded, we were blown away, we were caught off guard by, just from the visuals, right? We were caught off by, this is what the Moorish movement is about. This is what it's about, right? All the stuff that we've been doing as Negro, black, colored, African, whatever, was really what the Moorish movement is about. That's really what, you know what I mean? So it was easy for us to make the transition, right? To say, I understand why we can't be Negro, black, colored, African, and why we should be Moors, and what applies to us when we say that we're Moors. Okay? That was 2008. Okay, that was in 2008. Now, when we first, before we went to Chicago and nationalized, our first real interaction with Moorish nationality and birthrights was through Washita Moore, right? Through a brother who we all know, you know what I mean? Go get his book, First World Order. You don't have to say no names. We're talking about faithful, loyal, active Mormons, right? He did a lecture out here, and we were inspired to do the lecture because some brothers who we know out here, maybe 2 years prior, brought Umar Shabazz, Elbe, Washita, who wrote the We Are the Washita book, right? They brought him here, you know, and real informative as far as the, the, the demonstration of who we are as dark-skinned people in the Americas. You know what I mean? Like, mind-blowing information. Um, due to his schedule, conflicting schedule, or whatever like that, um, we said we're going to reach out to some other people. This is now about 2006 right now. Right? One of the brothers out here, who I'm going to show in a picture later, one of the brothers out here went to Brooklyn and ended up, in Harlem. So he gives me a call from Harlem, and this is when we had, our Marcus Garvey Center. We were doing lectures, community meetings with the elders, under the labels, Negro, Black, Colored. Garvey Center was pretty much, that was our base. The Marcus Garvey Center. And we were always into making sure that the people have information. So we always had books. We always did, little classes and things like that. Talking about African history. We had the Rome program, re-education of African minds, where we would go throughout the city, whether it was a library, community center, whatever like that, basement of somebody's building, in the party room, whatever, get a DVD, well, at that time, VHS. We would get a VHS and a TV, and we would just watch Asher Kwesi and John Henrik Clarke, Ivan Van Sertima, who brought a lot of us into this information from, that perspective. Leonard Jeffries, whatever stuff that we had on tape, Rastafarian stuff, and, documentaries on Haile Selassie, whatever, just get information to the people. This is Negro, Black, Colored, right? So brother goes to Harlem and calls me, right? Like, yo, I'm with this brother right now, and he is a distributor of DVDs or whatever, So then also too, this is the transition from tape, from cassette to DVD. Like, this is early in that, right? So we're like, okay, well, this is a little opportunity. We can get our catalog a lot bigger. At the same time, we can up our technological, expression of these lectures and stuff like that. Because on DVD it's a lot different. You could burn them. With a DVD, but with a burner, you could burn it. At twice the time, instead of dumping tape to tape. Which is real time. So we're like, okay, let's do it. So he bumps into Son Netter, House of Consciousness, and good rapport. No issues. Brother said that he was willing to give us like $5 a DVD or something like that, because we were spending big. We were spending, I think it was over 500. Like, we were spending. We were putting on some point to get some DVDs, right? So, they worked out whatever deal that they worked out. You're like, yo, you know what I mean? I'll take the hit right now. When I come back, just hit me back with funds, whatever. Whatever, cool. You know what I mean? That's family. So, he got the stuff, came back with, you know what I mean? Stack of DVDs, you know what I mean, like this. Because the whole thing too, with because you already know that Sonic sells in the case, right? So, we didn't buy it in the case. You know what I mean? Like we bought just the disc only, right? No cases, just the disc with whatever's written on it. So we came back with like stacks and stacks. Going through all these DVDs, put in a, and again, this is from us having these little classes. Now we got these DVDs now. We don't really know what's in the info because we're watching these for the first time. Okay, so we got, you just name it. Just think about the Sonata catalog of DVDs, and we had hundreds of them. Right, still got spools and spools today of those. Say the originals that we got from 2006. Still have the originals, right? And we'll have this little program, 2 hours a night. Put the DVD in, sit down, and just watch DVD. After it's done, pull it out, and we build up what we just saw. So that went on for a few months, right? Because we were watching it by category. So we're watching, the slavery stuff, and then African history, and then the Egyptology, and then the so we get to the Moors one. So first time hearing about this since the lecture with Washita, with Umar Shabazz. So like, oh yeah, this is that thing again, you know what I mean? So let's put these in or whatever. So we put these in, you know what I mean? First one we put in was driver's license fraud with brother Taj Treatley. And took that out in maybe a minute because, who's this guy with this hat or whatever? He's talking about constitutional stuff and black codes, and this is just too much, put that aside and get something lighter, so going through with a few Taj in there, so every time we seen him, we just pulled it out, didn't even look at it, we don't even know, that just wasn't where we were. And then we put in shaman healers, with this brother from the Washita in North Carolina. And he starts talking about the origin of the Bible and esoteric versus exoteric, and there's a veil that's hiding the real perspective from the people, and he's breaking down what Jesus really means and astrological relation to this and that, and metaphysics, and so we're caught on this now. So eventually, I think it was even Sonetter who we connected with to get the brother's number, because we were like, well, let's bring him here to do a lecture. This is not, because our mindset was innovation back then, right? Our mindset was not the common African guys that do lectures or whatever. Like we were the new breed of the conscious community out here, right? We were it, right? We were the next up and coming individuals. It was us, and it was the brothers who brought the Umar. Right? These were the two factions of people that were up and coming in as far as getting the information out to the people, because everybody else, they were doing the Dr. Benz and the Ivan Van Serma lectures, the monotonous same perspective. We came from the slave ship, came over here, we built civilizations, whatever. And we were going into metaphysics, occult, sex magic, left hand path, all these other things that people were kind of, I don't know if we should deal with that. That's not really our culture, blah, blah, blah. We're like, whatever. So when when brothers started dropping all this information, we're like, okay, we got to bring him here for a lecture. And so we set it up, got in contact with them. Everything was no issues, no dissing us because we're African or whatever like that, or we have the mindset of African or nothing. You know what I mean? He recognized that, he recognized that we recognize that there's a shift happening. And, he at that time happened to be one of the Moors in the House of Consciousness, circle before the whole mental wrestling and all that, when House of Consciousness was actually really, really good as far as information and stuff like that. He was one of the top 5 lecturers. So, like, all right, we're going to bring him down to do a lecture. And then through him, we connected with Black Dot, Professor Griff, Bobby Emmett, Kabahaya Watha Kameni, Sister Zakina with the Washita, with Milwaukeeans, Brother Rudra, Obashango L, all these people who we eventually brought here to do lectures as well. So, so he came here, drove his, he had a red Cherokee, if I'm mistaken. He had a red Cherokee at the time, or I don't know, some Jeep, whatever. Had some Jeep, red Jeep. I know it was a red Jeep for sure. So it comes here, does the lecture, we're, he drove, matter of fact, from North Carolina to here, right? Traveled, drove, whatever, right? So after the lecture, we're outside building, just having some conversation. Lecture was good, you know what I mean? This was real good. Got to come back again, you know how the talks go, right? And then we realized that he doesn't have North Carolina plates on his conveyance. Oh, he doesn't have North Carolina plates or whatever. That's, didn't really think about it really. Just, oh, okay, well, I guess he's a Moor, so, maybe, whatever, he, whatever. Started telling us about, yeah, when he came over the border, he didn't need the passport, he had papers, he showed papers and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't forget, we're Negro black colored, we're not there yet. We're Negro black colored African, into the metaphysics, high sciences, Egyptology. So, in conversation now, after he goes back, start going through the DVDs again, found, other stuff, little deeper information with regard to Moors and Moorish nationality and things like that. So, wanted to put this on the record just so that everybody knows that it's not a game, right? That, we were actually nationalized, well, me, talk for myself, I was nationalized with Washita. Okay? Now, here's my Washita paperwork that I sent out. There's the royal seal on it. Okay, there's the flag, so here's everything. Okay, there's all the this is the package that everybody gets when they claim their nationality through Washington, right? So this is how we were brought up. We don't talk about it because it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? We're all Moors, but for the sake of today, just so people know, right, that's who brought us in to this information. It wasn't the Moors in Chicago. That was our second step. Our first step was connecting with that Moor or those Moors of North Carolina, Washita. And, one of the things that was stressed to us was, that's just some papers. Don't get caught up in the papers, make sure that you study and know what it is to be a Moor. Because, when you say that you're a Moor, that's a real big deal. So that through that paperwork, that led us to the rights of indigenous people and the UN and things like that, and you know, taking a lot of things that were presented in that information a lot more serious. So we're going through the DVDs now, and we bump into these were what? Say that again. Yeah. Send it still. Send it still. I'm not even there yet. I started the class already, but yeah, you can send it still. All right, yo. Please. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just once you send it, I'll get it. Yo. Don't worry. If not, I'll call you back. All right. Apologies, but that has to be, you know, something about what we're dealing with for today. It's not time yet for that part. So, anyways, going back through the DVDs, you know, because now we're amped up now. So now we take all the stuff that's black, whatever, throw all that stuff out, and we're now just going through all the things. Anybody that says Bay, L, Moors, whatever, that's the only ones that I'm focusing on, right? Because something happened when we met the brother and sister from North Carolina, right? So going through now, found a DVD, and I see him wearing the hat that we saw in that first video with the guy with the, you know what I mean? So like, oh, so this is all the same stuff. It's not different. This is relative. Okay, that's cool. So, you know, going back now, remember, this is 2006 that we got them DVDs or whatever. So now you're going about a year and a half, 2 years. So 2008, early 2008, right? We come to the realization, or I come to the realization that this kind of sucks because all they talk about all the time is United States, United States, United States. We're in Canada. What does that have to do with here? You know what I mean? Even when we go through all the Washita stuff, you know what I mean? It mentions Canada, but you know, it doesn't go into any detail for us. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's just a mention, honorable mention. So we're like, okay, we got to find a way, you know, to try to connect this thing here. You know, key term, you know, sovereignty, whatever. So start doing research about it. All these Europeans here now who have their little sovereign citizen stuff that they're doing, you know, studying some of their information, and got into some information with regard to the right to travel. You know, that, you know, Canada, you know, the driver's license is a fraudulent instrument, and you know, all the licenses are fraudulent instruments, and cities are corporations, and the province is a corporation, and Canada is a corporation, and the United States is a corporation, and all these, you know what I mean? So this new paradigm now opened up because of some Europeans, mind you, you know what I mean? Right? But remember, 2006, right? We were introduced by having all the DVDs. We were introduced to the Moorish paradigm, but we weren't there yet. So we had to take a step back from that and, you know, Allah plans things with absolute perfection, right? So studying these Europeans, they're talking about this stuff about right to travel and driver's license fraud, and it 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 was harmonizing with me, you know, not just because from studying it, but there was something that was harmonizing with me. Something was resonating with me about this thing about right to travel, right to travel. You know, driver's license fraud, all capital letters names, um, um, you know, fraudulent courts, and you know, government officials not really being government officials and things of that nature. And then light bulb went off, realized with the hat. So now at this time, 2000, early 2008, we are now the um, House of Consciousness DVD distributors for Canaanland. So everything is cased, you know what I mean? Picture on it, you know. And remember, we're dealing with cases now. So now we got all these boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff that we burned. You know what I mean? Went out, got 7-tower burners and stuff like that. Got 5 burners running at once. You know what I mean? Type of, you know, operation. Get the information out to the people because we got it. So you know what I mean? You know, that's what we got to do. So we got all these DVDs. You know, similar setup to what you see going on in Harlem or whatever. They got their little big table. Then they got all their stuff out there, you know what I mean? Hundreds of DVDs, people who aren't in the knowledge coming to the table like, oh, like which one do I buy? Like I only want one. It's like, well, you know, we don't do one, we do 3 for 20. So, you know, you might as well get 3 because if you buy one, it's 15 or 10 or whatever like that, you know, so take the deal. You know what I'm saying? So that was going good, you know what I mean? So now had to go through all of the masters to try to find this video, this DVD with the brother with the hat, the red hat. So this is weeks just putting in DVDs. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Right? Because you know, with us doing the distribution, everybody had DVDs. You know, there were like 5 of us. Here's a stack for you. Here's a stack for you. Burn all you can. Print the covers. Put it together. And then, you know, we'll convene after we're done burning everything, put everything together, and then we'll go throughout the city doing events, set up the table, and you know, whatever, you know, get the information out. I mean, remember, this is Negro Black Color Metaphysics time. This is not as more yet, right? Because remember, like even with Newton Alim having washtop paperwork, it wasn't registered like that. It was just had the papers were sitting there, you know. Eventually I'll get there. Right now, I don't know anything about this. I'm just studying this. You know what I mean? We'll see how this thing goes. Right? Oh yeah, and here's the registered mail of everybody that, you know, even not having the knowledge of what it is, still made printouts, printed it up, envelope, send copies to everybody, put them on notice of what it is. You know what I mean? But still saying we're black and all that, not even paying attention to, you know, being more. I mean, I'm still Brother Prime. You know, I mean, no Cujo and none of that, right? No Prime L or nothing like that. I'm just still, you know, community brothers, just doing what we gotta do. Get so, finally find the DVD with the guy with the hat. You know, that was one of the best days of my life. I remember putting it in and immediately pressing play. And I watched that DVD for about 5 days. Every time it stopped, started over again. About 5 days I watched that DVD. So, you know, 24 hours in the day, it's I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hour class or whatever like that, every day. Because, you know, at that time, what was I doing at that time? That time I was working collections at that time. And in that realm, during then, 2008, 2007, 2008, collections was the fiat making job if you had phone friends. You could talk some game on some phone. If you need somebody to remortgage their house to pay this $50,000, you're probably gonna go home every month with, you know, 2,000 commission on top of your pay. That's just what it was, right? So during those times, like I had mad time off to do whatever I wanted to do because, you know, there was just fiat everywhere and it was legal. You know what I mean? Actually, a job paying me to tell somebody remortgage their house, threaten them in any way that I can. You know what I mean? Make them feel that this debt is so You need to deal with this. You go talk to your grandma. Then you say that she has, pensions and all this stuff. Let her tap into the pension, pay this debt, and all this type of stuff. So I was baited. Baited in money, right? 2,000 commission check on top of pay, salary. No, questions asked or nothing like that. You're getting the fiat, number one collector and stuff like that. All that stuff, right? So had mad time. So going through all this information, 5 days watching TV, and realized that okay, this this thing applies to us because this individual with this hat, he's talking the same way that these Europeans are talking. And why, if we're black power and all that, why am I listening to some European tell me about driver's license fraud? Why don't I just listen to somebody who looks like me? Why would I, if I'm black power, if I'm black supremacy, if I came from Africa, I'm not a slave or whatever like that, burned a plantation down, then you know what? I'm gonna listen to this brother and speak about burn the plantation down. At the work where I worked at, right? The company that I worked at, everybody else in there had clean shaven and all that stuff except me, because I was the rebel against slavery. That's why I had the acronym on my album from back then, RAS. People thought it's because I have locks and I'm a Rasta. No, I'm the rebel against slavery. Anytime there's slavery going down, I'm going to rebel against it. Anytime there's something going on that, I'm going to rebel against it, right? And that doesn't mean I have to quit, getting fiat from the colonizer. Especially if I could go in there with my locks. Other people, they got perm, they got and all that type of stuff. I got hair. Don't forget, that time, hair is, down to here. You know what I'm saying? Getting the little frills and stuff like that. Looking all fuzzy, not looking presentable at all. Beard, any way it looks, doesn't matter. But hey, what are they gonna say? I'm bringing them fiat, so we'll let him do whatever he wants to do. Going to work, high, all that type of stuff. Manager knowing that we're high at work, not saying nothing. Can't say nothing because that's our top number one collector, right? So we had the field niggers going in the house and stuff like that, using master's toilet and stuff like that. We weren't on some go shit in the bush or whatever, right? We dealt with what we had to deal with to make sure that we continue to be the spook at the door and get this information out to the people. The whole Superman, Spider-Man, superhero concept. The daytime, you're the reporter or whatever. Nighttime, you're Daredevil, right? So in this case, it was weekend with Daredevil, and the week, you got suit and tie, whatever, right? So forget listening to these Europeans. We're gonna listen to brothers because they look like us. They got these funny hats or whatever, but that's irrelevant. These guys are talking the same thing that the Europeans are talking. So listening. And then that's when we went to Mecca. We went to Chicago. Because that driver's license fraud inspired me to the point of I need people who are down with this. And I couldn't get a hold of this guy with the funny hat, Taj Street from the video. Couldn't get a hold of him. So we're like, okay, whatever. So, praise Allah, got connected with the Moors in Mecca. They invited us to come to the temple. So we go to the temple, right? And we are blown away by what is presented to us being, somebody from another jurisdiction coming into their jurisdiction, and they're dealing with us like we're them. And it never really registered, in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like from getting the call when we were crossing the border, in Windsor, because when you're going to from here, when you're going to Chicago, when you're going to the States, there's two ways you can go. You can go either the way through Detroit or you can go the way through Niagara. Right? So if you're going to Chicago, those places, they usually go the way through um, Windsor, through Detroit, and then go down that way. So, as they make the call, let us know where y'all at the way, whatever. When you get to location, 10 minutes or whatever, just give us a shout. We'll come pick you up at the bus station. Right? 14-hour bus ride. We get at the station. We're there waiting. Waiting. It wasn't bad because we're in a new place. We got to look around, stand outside or whatever like that. Just observing the scene. We're in a new area. So phone rings. Yeah, we're outside or whatever. Come outside. We go outside, and door opens, and there's this brother wearing like the quote unquote African dashiki, whatever, full suit stuff. Royal blue, full suit, right? And a royal blue feathers. And me and my brother look at each other like, what? Thought those things were only red or whatever, right? They got royal blue ones, it's okay, it's all right. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, so brother comes out the ride, floating on air or whatever. Um, that was an indication that okay, this is different. Seen dashikis and stuff before, but this just has a different frequency. Right? This isn't even the same frequency as Black Power and African whatever and spirituality and all that stuff. This is a totally different realm. Okay, so automatically, being that we're on, we've been looking at, at this time now. So by this time, 2008, October, by this time, we've been on, Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, you know, um, um, the metaphysics, Brother Panic and, things of that nature, Azariah, we're on like, we're out there. We got, we're on the Orishas and all these Hindu deities and Tibetan deities and spiritual world. So we're looking at this thing like totally spiritual. We're looking at these individuals like angels and stuff like that. They're not really human because we know humans where we come from, and they don't have this energy that this individual came out this car wearing this blue and he's looking like he's some type of, I don't even know what to call it. It just wasn't normal. It wasn't human like. It was very celestial. It was very surreal. Like just even, you know, every time I think about it, it's like going into a different world. Going through a vortex. And in the Matrix with the key man, you open the door and you don't know where you're going to end up, right? So the Islam and whatever, peace, blessed, love, prayer to the mutual and all that. Before we go to temple, we just gotta make a stop. So we leave the bus station, go to um, was either a tailor's store or a fabric store. And going to the store, he's like, you guys wait in the car. We're like, no, yeah, wait in the car. We're gonna come with you. And just see see what's up over there. We're new here. We're not gonna sit in the car and look at stuff. We want to see the place. So we get out the car, go into the store. As soon as brother goes in the door, we notice all the clerks. There's maybe like 6 clerks and there are 5 clerks. All the clerks, I think they had the bell on the door or something like that. So all the clerks look to the door. realize who it is, and like literally leave who they're with to go deal with this individual. Now, where we come from, when you go into a store out here, you're getting followed around because, we used to boost stuff back in the day. I can't even front. So, we kind of gave ourselves this reputation of when you go into a store, know that you're going to get followed because, we set ourselves up by going into stores boosting for all these years or whatever. Right? Nobody's bothering him on some following him around. They're actually coming in to serve him. But, one individual, why is 5 people leaving who they're with, mind you, to go deal with this, this black man that just walked into their store? So that was another indication that, okay, something's definitely different with this. This is definitely something totally new. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. You know what I mean? So he does his little business or whatever like that. We leave there, go to the temple. So we pull up at the temple, and before we even get off the car, doors open. Why? Why is the door open? Why is somebody opening the door? Why is somebody opening the door? Whatever, not even playing in any mind or whatever, So now there's these brothers now with the black hats now. We're like, okay. So there's multiple colors of these then, you know what I mean? And they have, obviously different meanings or something because, all these individuals outside the car, they got the black ones on. Driver has the blue one, and we only know the red one from the DVD. It's like, okay, and then they got on their, army shirt, you know what I'm saying, right? And at that temple, they had the black feathers with the yellow tassel, right? That was the head mufti. The head mufti had the yellow tassel. Everybody had the black on black, right? So the head mufti had the yellow tassel. So comes to me, you know what I mean? Goes in the back of the car, grabs my bag. I'm like, yeah, sorry, brother, you know what I mean? I'm not no slave or whatever. I can handle my own stuff. But it's like, you don't carry your bag. Oh, right? A little bigger than me and all that. So I'm like, all right, cool, do your thing. You know what I mean? I hate on it. So we put the bag, we go inside, you know what I mean? Meet the Grand Chief. Grand Chief, treasurer, everybody, and obviously the red one, the red feathers or whatever, with some building, have a conversation, blah, 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 go through the motions, you know what I mean? At the temple service, Saturday they had something going on at the temple, and then Sunday we had to leave. Right? Sunday, we went through attic chamber on Sunday, and then we went through the attic chamber. This is like, like 10 in the morning or something like that. More rushing around because they had, I think they had a costume ball this Saturday night. They had a costume ball this Saturday night. And so some of the boys didn't go to it and do with them. They went to the costume ball. And when we went through the chamber, then, they gave us the, here's the jump drive with all the writs that you're going to need. What's that? What's writs or whatever? Oh, just affidavits. Or what's affidavits? Like, what are you talking about? Don't worry. Just here's the stuff. You know what I mean? Here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that, here's some books, here's some whatever. Just giving us, everything that we need. You know what I mean? So one of the things that we got from them is this paper, right? This is the paper from back then, right? 2008 or whatever. Driver's license fraud with an article written by the same red hat, Moore. And so now we're like, okay, this is definitely something. These individuals actually know him. He has a paper and stuff like that. All right, cool. Got that one. And then after that, came back here, started putting the information out to people. You know what I mean? We're not Negro, black, colored. Everywhere that we used to frequent to do these little classes, these little presentations, the Rome stuff or whatever like that, we're getting space there now to come teach people about this thing about being Moors. You know what I mean? So doing classes, you know, we still have all those classes, you know what I mean, that we initially were doing when we came into the information. And as we you know, go out there and exercise what we thought being Moors were, because our perspective of being Moors was what we saw in Chicago. Now, one thing I have to bring up too, that another, you know, on top of the people holding the bags and them dealing with us like dignitaries and things like that, one of the other things that you know made us realize something's definitely going on here was when we noticed that they had Moorish plates on, not Illinois plates. And this was like all the Moors who had a mode of transport had these plates. And anytime they went anywhere, all the Moors went together. And they had their cars, vehicles in like, you know, they're behind each other. You know what I'm saying? So you got, if you got, you know, 4 rides, then the 4 rides are like, you know what I'm saying? 4 rides. And that's how they're driving everywhere, right? So, you know, that was, you know, a throw off. Because we're like they're on some unity like that. Like when we go somewhere, you know, jump in the car, we meet you there. They're on some, everybody gets in the car, we're leaving at the same time, coming back at the same time. If that guy goes through the light, everybody's going through the light. If the first guy stops, everybody stops. Nobody's going around anybody, nobody, whatever. Everybody's like, and you know, you're looking at maybe half a car's length distance between all of them. So nobody could slide in, you know, in between or anything like that. You know what I mean? You know, everybody driving at the same speed, you know what I'm saying, to maintain this half car distance between all the cars. Like, so it's not like, you know, one was this big and then there was a gap this big and then there's a gap this big. Like all of it was the same, which was real trippy to see it in action. That, you know, okay, one, we're sitting here, we're in the cars or whatever, we're looking at Negroes, blacks, coloreds, whatever, getting pulled over with Illinois plates. And nobody stopping these individuals for the place that they got. Nobody stopping them for anything. No disrupting their movement whatsoever. Like, wow, this is crazy. This is something for us to get down with, for real. So, you know, we said, yo, we're gonna get down with this. I don't care what, but we're gonna get down with this. You know, obviously, you know, we gotta remember, we have to remember to put this out there, that the Moors that brought us in Mecca, they were dealing with this Noble Drew Ali first. They didn't tell us about right to travel and all that stuff and, you know, explain that to us and explain that perspective and what that is. They talked to us about Noble Drew Ali first. Quran, 101 questionnaire, Moorish literature, oral statements. Like that was what first lessons were. After we went through the Arab chamber, then we got the writs and all this other stuff. Prior to the Arab chamber, it was Noble Drew Ali 100%, no straying off the path, Noble Drew Ali only. That was all, right? Just to put that out there so people know how we came up, right? We didn't come up in, you know, exercise our rights as Moors first. We came up Noble Drew Ali first. And anything that Noble Drew Ali said, written, documented, that first. Everything else, you do after you deal with Noble Drew Ali. So we'll come back here doing all these things, you know, all the stuff, you know what I mean? Went out, bought myself a little satchel or whatever, you know what I mean? Had flags on there, Surf 7, and carried this around everywhere that I went. You know what I mean? A little thing, I mean, just a little something, right? Just to, you know, carry around papers, flyers, whatever it is, show people stuff, information, whatever, right? So um, um, September now, 2008 now, September 2008 is when all this starts going on. Right? When all this starts going on. September 2008, you know, uh, going on the news, saying that we're Moors, individuals who, were coming to our classes, they were going through a situation with child services, and they saw this as a way to, you know, um, deal with their situations, if you will. You know what I mean? And for members of the temple, so we figured, help them out. Same. Right? So these are all the articles going on. This was a weekend. This is the Tuesday after the whole fiasco at the hospital. Right? Um, this is the Monday. This picture is from the Sunday when they kidnapped the sister at the Moors ever saw the oil painting of Cujo with the green background. This is the original picture, right? That was taken. Okay? Or this was the original date. It was a different picture from a different paper. But this is the date. Right? Just Google Cujo oil painting or whatever. You'll see a picture, drawing, artist rendering or more, right? Which is myself. Okay? So this was at this was at the police station where on the Sunday night or the Sunday after the sister had turned herself in, where they kidnapped her and brought her to the station. I mean, they were holding her here. We were talking to the detectives and dealing with them. They were dealing with us on some, they violated whatever, Remember, this is 2008. So we don't even know what, we don't even know what's going on. We're just pretending, to be, what we saw the Moors in Chicago, right? And then as you can see, if you look by the hair, you can tell how long ago this was, right? By the length of the hair. So this is all this going on, paper articles upon paper articles. Every day is something new. This is another Monday paper, different paper, right? Dealing with articles, dealing with, this incident that went down on the weekend. This sister, taking her offspring out of the hospital, and there's been a manhunt for her. You can't find her. Where she's hiding, her face black, plastered, on the news and all this type of stuff, whatever. So that's when we realized that, well, actually, one of the news stations did a segment on Noble Drew Ali. So, imagine that you're watching the news and you're seeing yourself on it. And on top of you seeing yourself on the news, you see a segment come up on the news. This is like 6 o'clock news going all across the country. You see a segment on Noble Drew Ali, and they have his picture up there. This is news now, right? They have his picture up there. And they're talking about Moors, and Noble Drew Ali taught black people that they're not black, they're Moors, and they're descendants from Morocco and a Mexam and all these. Oh, speaking about a Mexam, when we were coming back from Chicago and we got to the border in Detroit, So we got to the border in Detroit. I don't know if it's still there or not. I was reading something. I think it was the Quran that I was reading, right? And we had, because I always had knee issues, I always take the aisle seat. You know, I never take the window because I'm not getting cramped up. Right? So I always take the aisle seat. And I was reading, and like I still remember the elbow. Like the elbow was like it the elbow jolted me. You know what I mean? Like the elbow startled me because I was really getting into this information. We got 14 hours, you know what I mean? So all we're doing is we're just pulling out books, just reading, pull out another book, pull out another book, pull out some paper, pull out, just all the stuff that they do, newspapers, whatever. You know what I mean? So I was really in a daydreaming, you know what I mean? I got this elbow, you know, and the brother that I went with, brother Hanif, look at that. I kind of lean over and I look out the window, and at the top of this building in Detroit, it said a Maxim on this building. And we're sitting there and we're like, wow, oh my God, this is something real. This is something real. It's a white building, right? The wall, it was chipped off and all that stuff. It was an old building, but the wall was white, whether it was painted white or whatever. And then at the top of it, in block letters, all chipped up and stuff like that, said Maxim on the building. So I'm just seeing it right now in my mind, right? Said a Maxim. And then that was the final indicator that let us know, okay, we're supposed to be doing this. Right? And we're not gonna not do this. Like, we're going to do this, right? Me personally, that was one of the things that made me really take this thing really serious, because there were all these happenings. You know what I mean? Like how when you get into having things on your mind, they manifest outside of you. So, like, if you're on the science of like Pills talks about the 444, and then everywhere he looks 44. Well, everybody who's doing 11, everywhere you look 11. Everything adds up to 11. Or you're on circle 7, and then everything is 7. You see sevens everywhere, right? So there were all these things going on when we were coming back on the trip. That was just okay, another verification. So I be like, okay, let's see how many of these things that we see. So all these things going on, all these things going on. So you said, okay, this is going to be something that we really put our focus on. And we came back, doing the classes, etc. Went through the stuff with the sister, stuff on the news, them talking about Noble Juali on the news and things like that. And now, at this time now we're blown away now, because you don't hear them talk about all these other so-called black leaders or whatever like that people been pushing out here forever. I mean, like, they don't do no expose on them, nothing like that. It's not really like that. I mean, but they did this thing on Noble Juali, and there was maybe like 10 minutes or something. They didn't go hard. They interviewed a couple people. They spoke with you go Google Susan Nance. Susan Nance is like a reporter, but her whole what do you call it, when you come out of college or whatever, university, and you got to do your little essays or whatever, all her stuff was on Moors and Moor science and Noble Juali and all these things about black people. Just Google Susan Nance articles and Moor science, and see how much stuff she wrote about the Moors. So there were there were things being verified to us that this was legit, right? So, um, so after that, right? After that, the whole news thing and dealing with this sister or whatever, um, I was working at YMCA, and then I got let go from YMCA. And at that time, um, it was pretty much. I just looked at it like, okay, this is a sign for me to have some time to, get deeper into this information and all that. So, let's get deeper into this information. Right? So we started. So we found out about the process of authentication. Authenticate your documents because again, we're listening to the sovereign Europeans because we never threw the stuff away. We never threw them away yet after we found out about Moors. You know what I mean? We just figured, we'll use what the Europeans are doing here to get ourselves in the door here, but our mentality, our image is going to be more. But we're going to be, looking at the sovereign Europeans. So they're doing the authentication and all that stuff, and we're trying to find office because they say apostille over there, right? In U.S, whatever jurisdiction, they say apostille. So, we're here asking about apostille, and nobody knows what we're talking about. Talking to lawyers, talking whatever, what I mean? And then one lawyer said, you talking about authentication or whatever? I'm like, and, she told us the process, what I mean? And we're like, yeah, that's what it is that we want to do. So we started going around and, we got all our paperwork and stuff like that together, right? And we started saying, we're going to go to the, apostille office, get our documents authenticated, because, we didn't know what we had at the time, what I'm saying? Right? We're just looking at it like for example, we had seals in 08, right? 2008 on that, so we then had seals, right? And we figure that, we have to go to the colonizer to get them to verify who we are. So, this is our authentication page, Ministry of Government Services or whatever, you know what I mean? So they have their little thing. And then what we would do is we would alter it with the stamp, right? So we got the red fox stamp, sign through the stamp and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then you do it on the back of the document so that if you send these documents to court, when the judge tries to pretend like, oh, I'm just going to flip this over and, have no papers in front of me because, usually nothing's printed on the back page, he still has something to deal with, which, is going to cause a conflict for him and a conflict for them when they try to pretend like they don't know who we are and whatever it is that we're demonstrating. Because, we're listening to the sovereign guys and they're telling us about their experiences that they're going through with, doing this thing called, exercising their right, common law venue, things like that. So we're getting all these things authenticated. You know what I mean? Like just getting stuff authenticated, Go in here, go in there, authenticating documents, right? And then we went to get authenticated one time, and the lawyer said, why are you getting this authenticated? Like, well, we want to get the seal of the government, we want to get the seal of the government on the document, so that way, when, we present it to them, they would know that they recognize our stuff or whatever. It's like, okay, that makes sense or whatever, so you guys are native and you're indigenous, and I never heard native people do this before, like, what's this about or whatever, well, this is about Moorish nationality, birthrights, and, whatever. And we stopped. I said, Moors? You mean Moors like Spain Moors? And, then that threw us off into another thing, that these people know about the Moors. Like, hold on a second, they know about the Moors. So we're like, okay, we're definitely going on. So here's a picture, right? This is the brother. This is the brother that went to get the stuff from New York, right? Brother Nefertep. Okay. This is a picture of when we did one of those Afrocentric events. You see on the bottom right there, right? All the products, DVDs and stuff like that, right? Books and everything, relative to the Moors, like not even dealing with the black stuff, just pushing flag in the back. We had our tent, right? And this was maybe a few months after I did my right to travel process, right? Now, how I got into deal with the right to travel process, because the reason I'm showing this picture is because at this event, I had the plates at this time, right? And I was exercising with Moorish tags on my vehicle, car, whatever, going all over the city, going to events, parking in parking lots, parking on the street, not getting tickets, getting followed all over the place by highwaymen, never getting stopped except one time, which we're going to get to, right? Never getting stopped, following me for, miles all across the city, just following me. Like, I'm like, me personally, I don't even have anywhere to go at this point. I'm just checking to see if they're really following me. So I'm just driving where, you know, doing it, proper, following the rules of the road or whatever, no speeding or nothing like that. You know what I mean? And they're just following me all over the place. Never pulled me over. I'm like, okay, this is just like what was going down in Chicago. So I'm like, all right, this is real or whatever. So we want to also put this up. So this was the right to travel paperwork that we're using. We figured that, since we had the perspective of recognizing that all this is one, so that we're Washita, right? Got the Washita paperwork. Figured, hey, we draw these from North Carolina, just like these Moors that came up here or whatever like that. So we're going to utilize, Washita stuff on our paperwork because we're Washita and we're Moroccans, whatever, right? So we got the right to travel paperwork authenticated. You know what I mean? Went to created our, right? And then at this time as well, we were also down with Pleasant Bay and the Moorish American National Government. So we were using that stuff, right? So we had their so-called flag and Great Seal and all these things, you know what I mean? And then at the top, we had Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple, using everything, not leaving anything out, right? Because figure, if we're all of it, why not use all of it? So did this writ, and before we were the Europeans used to always talk about, we have a right to claim this, we have a right to claim that. So instead of affidavit of fact on our paperwork, we would put claim of right, because we were, trying to not tie ourselves to legalese, whatever like that, thinking that they control that. So we're like, okay, we're not going to use the term affidavit. We'll just use the term claim of right. So this was the claim of right that I sent to the Ministry of Transportation, which is the department that used to deal with giving out the licenses and stuff. The Minister of Transportation, who is Kathleen Wynne, who is now the Premier of Ontario, right? So she, left her Minister of Transportation job because, the Moors used to bombard her with stuff. So she's like, forget this, I'm running for a different position, so I don't have to deal with these people, right? And the MP, which is the member of parliament for the area where I domicile. Right? So, and this was a writ of dissolution. So this was when, after traveling, or sorry, after driving on suspended license, suspended plates, no insurance, and all that type of stuff, and never getting stopped or whatever. Figure I don't need their stuff, so I'm gonna give all their stuff back. So what I did is wrote a writ of dissolution, right, to dissolve license, plates, ownership, whatever, put it in the envelope with this writ and send them, because I'm about to do the right to travel. We got the authentication, like the government recognizes this. You know what I mean? Who we think is the government. Even though it wasn't really sunk in yet that they're the corporation or whatever. We're still looking at them as government recognized, whatever, right? So, writ of dissolution. Good day. I am Kudro Adwael, ex-relation straw, queer persona, not pro se, sui juris, in full life, non-resident alien, domiciled in Scarborough Territory, Ontario, Canada, Republic. Not a corporation or legal fiction created by the Crown of Canada, and not cognate nor related to any nom de guerre, nor to any other fictional entity or cardholder created under color, fraud, and misrepresentation by the unclean hands of others through artificial legal construct, man, nor man of straw, written, typed, photocopied, misrepresented, or deceptively scribed in all capital letters. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions that the partnership heretofore existing between Straw under license plate number ATCB 866 issued by the Ministry of Transportation and Kudro Adwael under the fictitious clouding of allodial title for Hunter Green 1995 Nissan Maxima through vehicle ownership is now dissolved by mutual consent. That Straw of the City of Toronto, Province of Ontario, is withdrawn from and is no longer associated in the conducting of said business, and Kudro Adwael of Scarborough County, Ontario Territory, Canada Republic, will conduct said business as exercise of constitutional rights hereafter, and is entitled to all property under straw name under a claim of right as required by Section 39 of the Criminal Code of Canada. Right now, just get that to class so you could see why the language. So this is when we were, trying to here we got the Code of Canada book and all this type of stuff, because we say, the law. So we're gonna use the law. Right? So Section 39. Defense with claim of right. Everyone who is in peaceable possession of personal property under a claim of right, and everyone acting under his authority, is protected from criminal responsibility for defending that possession, even against a person entitled by law to the possession of it, if he uses no more force than is necessary. Defense without claim of right. Everyone who is in peaceable possession of personal property but does not claim it as a right, or does not act under the authority of a person who claimed it as a right, is not justified in protecting from criminal responsibility for defending his possession against a person who is entitled to law of possessing. So that's where we got the concept of claim of right and using that on our documents, because claim of right, and then somebody tries to violate you, then you have a right to defend your claim of right according to laws in Canada. So we're like, all right, cool, this is perfect. This is perfect. So so after I sent them their stuff, sent them their stuff back, it was time to get down with letting them know of our position. So after that, prepared a document called Notice and Demand. Okay, so this is after they After I gave back all the stuff, because I realized, I'm not going to be using you guys' stuff ever again. I'm never ever going to get a license ever again. I'm never ever going to register anything with these people as far as any of my property, right? And I'm never ever going to use their so-called plates ever again. So, it's a thing out here that, if you have a plate and you sell your car or whatever like that, you can keep the plate and then, just put it on the new car that you get. And then keep the plate, sell that one, then put it on a new car. I'm like, forget it. I'm not even using these guys' stuff anymore. Forget these guys, right? So, did a notice and demand. And then notice and demand was sent to Assistant Commissioner Mike McDonald for the RCMP. So out here, the jurisdiction of the highwaymen is you have the federal, which is the RCMP. You have the provincial or the state, which is the OPP, and then you have the municipal, which is Toronto Police, the regular beat cops or whatever, right? So OPP commissioner got hit up, Toronto chief got hit up, and RCMP got hit up, right? Enclosed, right to travel affidavit. Greetings, honorable person. This is a notice and demand of my common law Aboriginal and Indigenous right to travel, which certifies that I, Kudra Adwell, have not, will not waive my Aboriginal and Indigenous birthrights as upheld in the United Nations Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous People and the United States Republic Constitution. Through the Regency of the Moorish Science Temple of America and Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World, and exercise our autonomous right to the lands, territories, and resources which they have traditionally owned, occupied, or otherwise used or acquired, the right to use, develop, and control the lands, the right to self-determination, and state shall consult and cooperate in good faith with the indigenous peoples concerned, through their own representative institution in order to obtain their free prior informed consent before adopting and implementing legislative or administrative measures that may affect them as expressed in the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous Rights. The intent and nature of these documents are of the highest honor and principle, and they derive from the pure hearts and minds of the Moorish American people, having formed themselves into a clean and pure nation. Our Messiah and firstborn Moorish American patriot, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, instructed us to go to those who know law in City Hall and in the officials in government and ask them in an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to give you a favorable reply. Drew Ali further stated, I am certain the present administration will be happy to help us to bring our people out of the darkness into marvelous light. We do ask for your help civilly, partial, and politically to peacefully aid us to bring into fruition the attached declaration and proclamation. Our principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice are the foundation of our considerable request in this correspondence. The return of the ancient ones, Moors in North America, is a prophecy at last being fulfilled in these last days after much delay. Our functioning as a Moorish divine and national movement in North America is impossible to compare to religious affiliations, church, or groups with sectarian beliefs. The old-time spiritual conviction of the Moors is the world's first creed of the salvation of mankind on earth. Our existence as Moors in North America is owed to our ancient foremothers and forefathers that brought to the world the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and adorn our national flag and sanctify our divine constitution. Our Messiah and Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us that this is a new era of time now, and every nation must return to their own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess their own. This is the same message given to the masses during the inauguration of the current President of the United States of America, who I must add, made Canada his first international visit when he became president. We humbly ask you to send us an immediate acknowledgement of these documents, as failure to register a dispute against the claims made herein will result in an automatic default judgment and permanent and irrevocable estoppel by acquiescence, barring the bringing of charges under any statute or act against this free Moorish American son of a widow, Kudro Adwell, and members of the Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Number 5. This notice must be responded to by counter affidavit within 15 days, or it will stand as undisputed fact as a matter of law. thank you for honoring your post by honoring and respecting autochthonous Aboriginal birthrights that grants you your post. Divine Being Kudro Adwell. Then the address was there so they can file a dispute. They have a dispute. There's the registered mail receipts that were sent to them. And with it, sent their law enforcement oath of honor from the International Association of Chiefs of Police website that states, on my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve. And then we also sent them the law enforcement oath of ethics, okay, which reads, as a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all to liberty, equality, and justice. I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all, and will behave in a manner that does not bring discredit to me or to my agency. I will maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule, develop self-restraint, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Honest in thought and deed, both in the personal and official life, I will be exemplary in obeying the law and the regulations of my department. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature, or that is confided to me in my official capacity, will be kept ever secret unless revelation is necessary in the performance of my duty. I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. With no compromise for crime and the relentless persecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately, without fear or favor, malice or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuity. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith. I accept it as a public trust, to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of the police service. I will never engage in acts of corruption or bribery, nor will I condone such acts by other police officers. I will cooperate with all legal authorized agencies and representatives in the pursuit of justice. I know that I alone am responsible for my own standard of professional performance and will take every reasonable opportunity to enhance and improve my level of knowledge and competence. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before God to my chosen profession, law enforcement. So put them all on notice, waited my 15 days. When 15 days was up, then it was on. It's time to exercise right to travel. But couldn't do that yet because at the time, we weren't going to go out there on no plates. So how are we going to get these plates? I mean, we need some plates. So our good brother, Malik Adol, who does all of our graphics for, whether it's flyers or whatever like that, the good ones, not the little, word crap that you see you post or whatever. The good flyers, the flyers that, are dramatic. I mean? The album covers, right? I was telling him about the idea of, right to travel and all these things or whatever like that. And, same thing came up, well, what about the plates? Are you going to manage with the plates? I'm like, well, I saw some plates, but, I don't know if I can get a copy of them or whatever. I don't know how we're going to manage, with getting the plates or whatever. He's like, you got something, you got a picture of it or whatever? He's like, if you got a picture, I think I could, use it or whatever. So there was a class that we got from Chicago with Grand Chief Nature LP, Taj Tariq Bey, Dawid Aliel, and Raz Mariah, debate. And in the class, Grand Chief Nature was talking about right to travel. And in him talking about right to travel, he held up the plate. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and there's a plate or whatever like that. So, paused the thing, with the camera phone, took the picture of it, sent it to the brother, right? So then the brother came back to me and said, okay, I think I did it or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you think or whatever. So then he designed these, right? So these are what he designed from what he saw on the picture that I sent him, right? This is what he did from a picture, okay? What he did from a picture, okay? And then this threw us into another thing of recognizing how good of a graphic artist he was. That time, like, you gotta make that. You're gonna take something from a picture and make something. All right, cool. So we went to this place called Budget Sign Shop in North Carolina. Here's still, right? There's still the envelope. Still have the envelope, right? Okay. Budget Sign Shop, and the total value of this package with quantity license plates 4, right? See it right there, right? Quantity 4 license plates. Okay. Price tag on it, $14 shipping, 50 notes, 4 plates from Budget Sign Shop. So like, we could work with that. You know what I mean? It's not, not rape or nothing like that. We'll do that. So we got plates or whatever, right? So exercising right to travel, right? What we had when we were doing it, we had Divine Constitution laminated. Okay. We had claim of right, because remember Article 39, right? So we had a claim of right, the allodial title document. Let's read this, put this on the record, right? Claim of right, allodial title. Respondent: any judge or justice of the Federal Court of Canada assigned to hear this matter. Affiant: I, Kudjo Addo. Whereas notice and demand are hereby declared that the Moorish American Kudjo Addo is the original and primary beneficiary under allodial claim of right of all valuable assets held in trust under possession by the agent in commerce, which is strawman. And whereas Section 39(1) of the Criminal Code of Canada states, everyone who is in peaceable possession of a personal property under a claim of right, and everyone acting under his authority is protected from criminal responsibility for defending that possession, even against a person entitled to law of possessing it, if he uses no more force than is necessary. And whereas I, Kudjo Addo, have no contractual obligation to be the surety or grantor for the debts of the legal person identity strawman. Therefore, I, a Moorish American Kudjo Addo, hold a allodial claim of right upon the real property or the asset valued therein, known as 1995 Nissan Maxima, as well as upon any and all assets valued by or in the name of straw name. An objection is hereby made against any clouding of allodial title by a secondary claimant or seizure by legal claim of any asset value from the real property legally known as VIN number, whatever. Equity prevails over law, and therefore demand upon the Federal Court of Canada to forthwith remove the purported fraudulent legal claim imposed by the Ministry of Transportation, which now exists in the form of ownership that has clouded the allodial title of property and held in the fiction name of strawman as trustee and agent in commerce for the free will Moorish American called Kudjo Addo. I am Kudjo Addo. Let me sign, right? Red print, thumbprint. And then we had the law enforcement oath of ethics. And then we had Supreme Court cases, exercising right to travel. So whenever we get stopped, this is what they get: right to travel paperwork, copy of nationality paperwork, okay. Copy of nationality paperwork, copy copy of right to travel paperwork. And they would get this. They would get this little package right here. There you go. You know what I mean? I'm Irish American, whatever, whatever. And they go back to their car, do whatever they do, come back, whether they give a ticket, whether they say bye, have a nice day or whatever. You know what I mean? But, you know, all that happened was I got followed. Followed. Followed, followed, followed. Now, prior to me, what made me even do that, go on that level, was I got stopped with suspended license, plate expired. All I had was the right to travel paperwork in the glove, right? Was on the highway, you know, pulled up behind me, bunch of plates, suspended license automatically. He's excited because, you know, he's got claims. So come over now, comes to the window, you know, license registration. Sorry, don't have license and registration. I'm Irish American. I do have a nationality card. Here you go. I do have right to travel paperwork. Here you go. Paperwork. What's this? I never seen this before. Blah. You know, goes to the car, checks the stuff. You know what I mean? Calls supervisor, comes back. Okay. You need to go down there or whatever. You need to get you off public highway. Right? You got to do that. Well, you know, you have this, you know, a low deal title and all this stuff, and you know, if you're private, then you know we can't deal with you on the public highway. We're gonna have to deal with you in a private, whatever. Okay, you know, this is a first, you know. So shuts the highway down. I mean, lets me exit. I mean, go park up in the parking lot. Comes out the car. You know what I mean? No, sorry. You know, we didn't mean to, you know, try to stop you from exercising your right or whatever like that. But you know, it's something that we've never seen before. You know, we've heard of, you know, things or whatever, but we've never seen anything like this before. We just need you to break this down to us. This was OPP, which is provincial. So this is like state trooper level, right? Equivalent to what, you know, the Moors are dealing with. So state trooper guy comes out, and, you know, he's, you know, really interested. You know what I mean? Like, you really want to know what this is about. You know, I called my supervisor, they don't know. Call the superintendent, they don't know. Call, you know, put it across the radio. We don't know what the hell this is. You need to explain this to us so we know what it is in case we encounter this again. How to deal with it or whatever. You know, don't worry, we're not bringing up any case against you. You know, you're not being charged with anything. You know, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we're explaining to them all the stuff about, you know, right to travel, protecting rights. We're Moors, we're not black people, blah, blah. You know, all these cars start pulling up. Maybe like 3 cars there, including the one that stopped. And then, you know, this is in the parking lot of like a little convenience store. So now you have, you know, the little crowd gathering around, you know, because it's a black guy and these officers, you know, something must be about to go down. Right? But, you know, they're not doing nothing. They're not searching this car. They're not, you know, they're just having a conversation or whatever. You know, all these people gathered around. So, they realized what it was when the, you know, in the meantime, everybody else who's there, you know, they're like passing the paperwork around, reading it, you know, like pointing at stuff, at, you know, eyes like this or whatever like that. Guys have their shades, lifting their shades up, like, yo, you read what that said or whatever. You know, like I'm talking to this guy, but I'm, you know, using the inner ear, listening to other conversations. So one of the Europeans comes over, you know, bald, shades, you know, the chip shades. You know, if you see yourself with their shades, you know, you can't see their eyes or whatever. These are, you know, cocky. I don't know what this is. You know, I mean, I heard about this with, you know, sovereign citizens, and you know, those people shouldn't be allowed to whatever. So, you know, I said, where are you from? Like, what do you mean where I'm from? I'm Canadian or whatever. Like, no, I mean, like, you know, where are you from? Like, what? You know, because you're European. Like, well, I'm Scottish. Like, you know, like, would you let somebody call you white person? Like, No way, I would never be called a white person. No, I'm Scotland, that's where my ancestors are from. I mean, like, I respect my ancestors, so I would want to be called Scottish. Exactly. Same way, I don't want to be called black. I want more. I want to be called Moorish American. I want to be called Aboriginal and Indigenous because that's my culture. And my ancestors are from this land. I never came over here as a slave. For that, all the secondary people jumped in their car, took off. The one that stopped me went back to the car, came back to me with a pink slip, said, give this to the driver and tell the driver that his license is suspended. I respect what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you that you're doing anything wrong, but be careful because the municipal people, they're not going to deal with you how I deal with you. Jumped in his car, took off. So I'm sitting there, all these people standing around or whatever, they realize nothing's going on, nobody's getting their ass kicked and whatever like that. So this is boring for them. They go about their business. I'm sitting there in the car now for maybe about 2 hours. Just like, what the hell just happened? What just happened? And then that incident made me go get the plates and everything else and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Right? So one day, when my sister lived in town, she was going somewhere. My mom wanted me to take something over there or something. And I got pulled over. And got pulled over. You see your license, registration. I already know routine. Oh, sorry. I'm Moorish American. My nationality card, my papers, I'm on that, or more, like, I didn't stop by OPP, the jurisdiction above you guys. So you're a municipal guy. Ain't nothing going on if you stop me. Here's the stuff, go make your calls, call your supervisor, call your superintendent, they'll verify everything. Guy comes back, I need a license. I don't have a license. There's the letter, there's the writ of dissolution I showed you right there that I gave you license back. So you don't have a license. No, don't have a license. All right. What's the name on the birth certificate? Birth certificate. What's birth certificate got to do it? Driving. And again, following the sovereign European, whatever, so you got the window crack like this, and you're talking through the crack. So he's like, 3 times. On the 3rd time, you don't give me the license, whatever like that, bust this window, I'm gonna pull you off the car. Need the name on the license, on the birth certificate. Need the name on the birth certificate. You're violating the law right now. You can't do it. Give the name on the birth certificate. No. Get up. Get up. Why don't you just get it from the VIN number? Goes, punches up the VIN number, gets the name. Oh, see, you got suspended license, suspended, blah, 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 blah. Right? So then they hit me up with all these right here. The tickets: operate motor vehicle without insurance, driving while under suspension, failure to surrender permit, confusion identity plate, driving motor vehicle with no plates, failure to report accident, improper tires, driving motor vehicle, no current validation, whatever. So-called officer that pulled me over, Alan Cheng, PC2, badge number 9999, right? 42 division. Okay? So they give me all the tickets or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Say they're gonna tow the car, impound, 5,000, then, you know, 300 a day in order to keep it and whatever like that, call up assistant grand chief, yo, this is what went down, come get me. You guys towed my stuff. Come pick me up. Go do the stuff with my sister or whatever like that. He takes me back home. I was living at my mom's at the time. Go back home, car's in the driveway. The car in the driveway. Like, yo, mom, somebody brought the car here? Yeah, a tow truck just brought it down or whatever. I thought it broke down or something like that. I'm like, no, I just got pulled over, here's all the stuff there. They didn't recognize my thing as Mars or whatever like that. Yeah, but how come they parked the car here? I don't know, they're supposed to impound it or whatever. So that got my mom now, hold on a second, like, this is not normal. There's no way that they're stopping you, giving you all these tickets for all this stuff, and not impounding the car. Like, this is not normal. Like, why are they doing this or whatever? Like, I don't know. This is just what they do. But, I have a court date, blah, blah, blah. So go to court, here's the transcript. Go to court for all the tickets, okay? And then they have, Pedro Adwell, ex-relation, right? Straw name, Figueroa, provincial prosecutor, right? That's how you know it's kind of a big case because, the provincial prosecutors, not some municipal, right? Then all through the whole thing, all they talk about is Pedro Adwell in their transcript. So this made me realize that, they know what's up. They're not calling me Straw in the transcript. They're saying Pedro, right? Now, when I tell Moors that this is why I ride the bus, right? I ride the bus because I went through that, and I'm not going through that ever again. Because I got warned by the provincial guys that the municipals are criminal and they do stuff how they want to do stuff. They don't care. They do things how they do it, right? So when I went to court, did my notice of special appearance, okay? Notice of special appearance. Adjournment of jurisdiction and writ of discovery. Okay. They threw out everything except the insurance. They threw out everything except the insurance. $5,000 insurance ticket, but they fined me $26,000. Supposed to be $5,000 insurance ticket. They fined me $26,000. Okay. $26,000. This was this was February 27. Actually, yeah, February 27, 2012. Okay. February 27, 2012. $26,000 fine. Okay. Paid immediately and all that type of stuff. Right. So what we do? Said, well, here's the original of it. Driving while under suspension. Driving while under suspension, 1300, right? February 26th. And then operate the vehicle without insurance, 25,000, right? So that's how you get the 26,000. Just so you guys will see that it's legit, it's real. Okay. So when they said that, sent them a claim of right request for an itemized bill, because you want me to pay something, you should be giving me a bill. That's just how it goes. You don't tell somebody pay something and you just put numbers on a paper. So send this to Ontario Court of Justice, which is the court that deals with traffic stuff. Minister of National Revenue, Keith Ashfield, Governor General, David Johnston, and City Councilor for our jurisdiction, Scarborough, at that time, Raymond Cho. Right? I am Kudrawado L, I received your whatever, in the name of Kevin S. McCletchy, which is clearly denationalization, misrepresentation. You could put on notice that I am Kudrawado L, if the transcript says Kudrawado L, how come you guys addressing me as Shaw? Like, why you find Kudrow? You guys know I was in court and all that stuff. I was there, you know what I mean? Why you putting this name? That doesn't have a license. They gave a license back, right? Please send me an itemized bill. Bill of Exchange Act states, a bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing, addressed to one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person whom it is addressed to pay on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time a sum certain money or whatever, blah, blah. Subsection 2, any instrument that does not comply with the requirements of subsection 1 or that orders any act to be done in addition to the payment of money is not, except as hereinafter provided, a bill. And then challenge them, you say you're Ontario Court of Justice. Are you judicial or administrative? Can you prove delegation of authority? Why is Canada listed on the United States Security and Exchange Commission? Why are you registered in Canada? Is your administrative agency asking for money when Canada's bankrupt? Why are you asking for money and it's not signed in blue ink by the person giving it? Is the person given this notice of need to pay a corporate person or a natural person? Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution says, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Is Ontario Court of Justice sanctioned by Congress to accept something other than gold and silver for payment of debts? Does the federal court represent you guys, the Ontario Court of Justice? What branch of the United States of America Republic government recognizes you guys? Blah, blah, so and then to show good faith, attached 2 money orders with them, also, sent with this the bill, right? Because of the fee schedule for you going to court. So there's the bill that I sent them for $384,000, right? For 192 hours of being held up by them. Okay. $2,000 an hour times 192 hours and $200 an hour for 192 hours, total of $400,400. I mean, there's a seal. Make sure you guys pay or whatever. I already know that they're not paying anything. And this wasn't sent for them to pay. It was sent to them to get my right back that they stole. Because as Moors, Aboriginal Indigenous people, we have a common law right to travel in our own land. And they're obviously hindering me from exercising my right. So there's the bill, right? And with that, sent them, just to stay in honor, send them 2 money orders for $25 with ransom over it. Okay, and mail that to them. If they cash them, then they admit that this is a ransom. And if it's a ransom, then that means they're kidnapping. And if they're kidnapping, obviously they're not government, so they're not getting another red cent from me because they're criminals. Since then, I haven't heard from them about no $25,000 that I owe them. So all that happened, and then I said, you know what? These people violating me. My mom's on me about it. You know what I mean? Why did they do this? I don't have any answers. You know what I mean? So let me file a complaint with the corporate ombudsman because he's supposed to be the jurisdiction that investigates when, stuff goes down that's, against law or whatever. So ombudsman writes me back, once again, addressed to Udrado L, never dealing with the straw unless it's paid, right? Then here's the complaint. Dear ombudsman, and this is 12 pages. So we're not even going to go into this, but just to show you that, there was a document sent to the ombudsman called formal complaint, claim of right, once again. So ombudsman writes back, office of the ombudsman, nice paper, good paper, signed in blue ink. What they're doing, right? All these things are just things verifying, right? And then don't forget, date April 2012, so you know that, it's real. Dear Mr. Adwo L, I am writing further to your package of information recently sent to our office. I have had an opportunity to review the material provided. The City of Toronto Ombudsman is able to investigate decisions or actions of the city's divisions, agencies, boards, and commissions. It does not have authority to investigate matters related to the courts, which appears to be the subject of your complaint. Now, out here, the courts are registered with the city, but he's saying that there's no connection between them, right? So we start to realize that we're dealing with, all these different jurisdictions pretending to have authority in jurisdiction that isn't really a jurisdiction, it's, corporate contract. Your file with our office will be closed. I regret that we cannot be of assistance to you. Sincerely, Jackie Pereira, Ombudsman Representative. So they pretty much, jump out the way, and they're going to let somebody else get hit by this bus, this Moorish bus that's coming, right? So they say they're not even dealing, right? And that's what made me go out and get this book. I realized nobody's going to do anything, and I'm going to have to do this by myself. So I went out and got this book called Brown's Lawsuit, How to Sue and Win. And, read this book, took my little notes and stuff like that, saying, and then when I dealt with that, I finally got in contact with Grand Chief Nature. And when I got in touch with Grand Chief Nature, one of the things that he sent me, the first thing that I got from him was this paper that he did, Writ of Error, dealing with his case. And when he sued Asbury Park Police and everybody else for them stealing his stuff and his property and all that stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, so there's a more who's dealt with this, all right? So, I read the paper only to come to find out that when you go sue these people in your official capacity as a Moorish American, their defense is going to be diversity of citizenship, which is federal question, which the lower court is going to dismiss the case and leave you standing there like, what is this? You go through all this stuff, paperwork, send paperwork, get plates and all that stuff. They dismiss stuff, you know what I mean? And whatever. They don't bother me about fines and all that stuff. And then when you go sue because of the violations, the corporate people are going to make the claim of diversity of citizenship. You can't sue us because we're diverse citizenship, we're corporate citizens, and you are a natural citizen, and that's a conflict of interest for you to sue a corporation. That's when we realize that you need to find another way to get this right to travel thing kicking off, because doing it the way that we did it is clearly not working. Right? Doing it the way that we thought that it'll work is not working. Right? So we figure, all right, well, we'll try to find some more who have dealt with this process. And if we find some more who dealt with this process, then we'll get with them, and you know, their stuff is proper, then we'll, we'll deal with them. Right? So found some more. One of the Moors in our temple one day said, you know what? I want to start up a ministry of transportation for the Moors. Like, all right, because as Aboriginal and Indigenous people, we should have our own to give our own. It shouldn't be individual like what I did. You know what I mean? So, from my perspective, I learned that everything I did was wrong, because what I did was I played one man is an island. Right? I played, you know, um, I'm gonna do this for myself, and you know, forget everybody else, right? Which is not the perspective that I was brought up on. But because of the principles, because we have the profit up front, because of whatever, karmically, I never got no arrests or nothing like that. Never got my ass kicked. Never got my window busted in. They never told stuff, have you pay all these fiat notes to get stuff out in pound and all that. I didn't have to deal with any of that. Right? All they did was run me through an experience, which is what I've taken the last 2 hours to exercise or demonstrate to the Moors, so you could learn something from my experience, right? And to put on the record that what I did was wrong because I did it as an individual, right? Conceptually, as Moors, we should be doing things in unity. We should be doing things in a, a society or a community. So it should be a community of Moors that come together and set up right to travel for their community, not more doing that. And then, now that I did it, I can tell other people how to do it. No, from the start, it has to be a group of individuals that are putting this thing together. So we decided that that's what we're going to do as Moors, right? So we got with some Moors. Moors said he wants to start up stuff, contacted Moors, spoke with them. They're like, yeah, we've been doing this, we've been exercising this, we can show you how or whatever like that, exchange numbers, and then I stepped out the way because, that's not my department. That's individual who tapped into his five senses and said, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing, set this up for the Moors, right? So, so we set this thing up, get with these Moors, set this thing up, and why we're going here now is because the Moors that we set stuff up with, that we're supposed to be, setting up our land and transport department, because we got rid of the ministry thing, because the Moors who we were going to, they said they're going to do land and transport department. So we're like, okay, land and transport. Okay, it sounds more official than Ministry of Transportation. You know what I mean? So we're going to ride with that. And I'm going to get this testimonial right now. The emails, go through that, understand where this is coming. Yeah. Now, Peter's tripping. Okay. So I'm just gonna read this, and then we'll go into some more. So this is endgame with regard to us and those Moors that we were dealing with, right? This is literally endgame. And the reason why it's endgame, because we realize that, people are in this movement and they're not down with being honorable, right? Their position isn't be honorable. Their position is, rape the people. Their position is try to be, King Kong of the Moorish movement, try to be the big head. You know what I mean? That everybody needs to recognize them and all this type of stuff, and owe them this, owe them that, allegiance and all that stuff. When that's not what this is about. It's about redeeming our people because we've been lost. So at Endgame, this is where we are. So this is from the assistant Grand Chief. This is his testimonial because he was a secondary party in the department that was dealing with us setting up a land and transport department for the Moors of Canaanland, so we can get all the Moors off of their um, corporate, municipal, provincial tags and licenses and bring them into the jure exercise of their right to travel. Peace and love. This is a cautionary tale which just reinforces the prophet's warning. Remember, a prophet is a prophet because what he says comes true. That being said, if you are not careful, your own brother is going to put you back into slavery. We in Canaanland were looking for a way to interact with the colonizer regarding our right to travel. Since in previous attempts the colonizer was using threat, duress, and coercion, as well as kidnapping, racketeering, to instill their fraud. One of our brothers took it upon himself to start up a ministry of transportation with the advice of Grand Chief. With the advice of Grand Chief, we were given a Jelani Bey as a reference point, as someone to connect with who could help facilitate creating this in our own jurisdiction. I now realize that at this point, unclean energies came into this. The timeline in regards to this is very important to this tale and to all honorable Moors who are contracting. If there are timelines not being adhered to, this is an indication of some issues. Our minister in 2014 said he had plates. This is in the official minutes of our ADEP meeting. By October 2014, still no plates. What I now realize is the scam is on. By October, still no plates. Finally, by end of November, plates are here. Caution, members should have been communicating through this whole period because we probably would have been able to see the issues much earlier. Divide and conquer. At this point, I get involved, giving 360 US to minister. December 15th, 2 weeks later, I give 105 US for specialized plates. This is memorialized because it was our Noble Drew Ali Day. At this point, I have been informed a couple weeks to get plates by mid-February. No plates have been produced. The minister at this time passes the contact on to me and leaves me to deal with Jelani Bey, obviously due to frustration. The scam, I now realize, starts again. I am told that the plates will be sent March 3rd, 2015. They do not arrive by mid-March to the end. I am told that the account that had originally been set up has become defunct and that his contact has left. He then has to set it up again, and this will take time. As I am writing this, I realize that he has lied because he sent Brother Heru his plates, but they were plastic. This becomes relevant later. He says they will be sent April 3rd. April comes around and goes. At this point, having felt a lack of control over the situation, one starts to be in the control like an oppressor. Mid-April comes, he then tells me that he has sent his card to them, but by that time they access his card, his account has been closed. He now has to send them money a different way, and tells me May 3rd that that was the contract, but they want more fiat, even though it is their fault. I now think that was another attempt to get more fiat. I say no. During this period, during this period of time, sorry, during this period of time, I come to find out that the minister has made a deal with Jelani for insurance. Jelani Bey wants fiat. For that, we tell him we are not giving any more money until he sends plates May 5th. An email with tracking number is sent to me. I received the plates 5 days later. During this period, we demand to see the contract for insurance. He tells us that no company will do that by this point. Stockholm Syndrome sets in, and I want to send fiat Minister Rush fiat because he left the cards on the table, and at this point he has no money to send the cards. A week later, we are informed that his grandmother is on death's door. So we are made to wait another week. His grandmother passes. He informs us that if we send insurance money or further package money, that these delays will be overcome. We are very disturbed at this point, but feel we are caught half in, half out. We inform him that before we proceed, he needs to complete the package. He then tells us that his account has been merged with his grandmother's and his money is frozen for at least 2 weeks. On or about the 1st of June, we send him 200 US. He proceeds to send an email confirmation of the package. I figure it's FedEx, but it is sent registered. It takes 9 days to get here. At this point, Jelani Bey and I have had a conversation with him about his finances because 2 weeks has passed and he still has no money. He tells me that he is coming to the bank and they are stalling him. He has been pressuring us to send insurance money through by his account, does not benefit him. I have been at this time listening to the fact that he is going to be evicted from his place. I take it on myself to send him another 250 US as a prepayment that all the problems which he stated were not of his doing are resolved. Minister and I at this point have a three-way conversation where we start moving toward where there can be no more delays of any kind in regard to any arrangements. He agrees, we agree, we send him 571 US, which to me seems like an odd amount for a deposit, but other Moors convince me it is not. We agree that on the 11th of June, he would get deposit. He says that on the 12th, he will go pay for it, and by the latest, the 16th, we will have a policy or insurance policy. Well, on Monday the 15th, Jelani was in the hospital saying that he needs more time. Then our grand sheik gets involved by the 17th, and Jelani Bey is stated that by U.S. warning other Moors to be careful, he has no money. Now on Thursday, the 18th, he states that on the 19th, he will go and register the policy. I contact him on Friday. He then states again that Grand Sheik has destroyed his revenue stream and that he will have to apply for Social Security. Though he had made it clear to me he never would work with the colonizer, on Friday he states that he does not have time to do the insurance because of the process of Social Security. Pedro knows the rest. We had also made it clear that any other delay, no matter what it result in, wanted to cancel this deal and transfer the code for the 250. The 250 was sent by Western Union MTC number 700-174-3428. The, the 571 was sent by Western Union 155-932-5764. The total sent since I have been involved is 465 package, $200 extra, 250 extra, 571 equals 1,021 US in Canadian fiat equals 1,420. This includes us covering all transfer fees that it is subsequently sent transfer fees. He has subsequently sent an email which Grand Sheik has stated that this is not about money. So that's what went down with Brother Omar being the individual who was dealing with this arrangement, right? And a quick amendment that he just sent. The amount is 1,021 plus 465 US, which makes 1,485 US in Canadian 2,000 notes. Right, so 2,000 Canadian notes. These Moors got from us for setting up a land and transport department. Right, I already told you the individual, Jelani Bey. Right, who claims that he's Great Seal and he's Moorish Holy Temple of Science and all that. Right. And then the last email, I think, June 20th, the last email we got from Jelani today is, Islam, brother, I have much to contemplate. Just forgetting about things and refunding funds is, there is a process. I will speak to you Monday, brother. I don't want to talk about the issues right now. I have some serious decisions to make. They will be made and carried out. Please allow me to process everything and make a public statement in reference to this issue. This will happen very soon. Thank you for your professionalism and ability to attempt to smooth this over. I have been advised by my counsel as to how this matter shall be handled based on the dialogue on the social media between your Grand Sheikh and my National Mufti, along with other things that have been written and spoken on. One cannot continue to do business and let an element continue to commit vicious attacks on the Home Office. This cannot be ignored. I do not wish to dialogue about this right now. So that was the last email that we got today. Now, why people are mad is because, they think that Canaanland Moors, specifically Grand Sheikh Kudro, is stupid. And, because he's so stupid, we're just gonna do whatever we want. And, stupid Moors are just gonna get gained. Now, like I told you in the beginning, when I went to Budget Science to get my plates, it was 50 notes. It's hard plates, right? This is not plastic, right? This is metal plate, okay? Metal plate with a sticker on it, okay? So for somebody to say that, it's gonna take them all this time to make this thing happen, they need all this fiat from us in order for this thing to happen. And not that they didn't get the fiat, they got the fiat. Not only did they get the fiat, they also got fiat because of kind-hearted Moors out here, right? This is what I was dealing with on Facebook the past few days when you hear me talking about, people taking kindness for weakness and, please test Kudro, you know what I mean? Please, let's see how far my sphere of influence is because, if you think that this is a joke, you will end people's careers around here. You know what I mean? Just like we've been doing with all the other dirty Moors that have been trying to, swindle people, rob people, play games. The reason why this is being presented is because I personally put these Moors in contact with this individual under the fact that I dealt with him and he never dealt with me on any, dirty measures. Even though people have come to me and told me, watch for that guy because, he's a little bit money hungry when it comes to exercising birthright because, he wants to get paid for whatever job he does under his title of National Grand Sheik and working for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. He wants to get paid, right? He can't work. He's not going to work. He's not going to take nothing for a European or whatever like that. He's not going to take nothing from the colonizer. Everything he has to get to live has to come from Moors. So Moors took the position of being kind, you know what I mean? Stuff happened to your grandmother, you know what I mean? Condolences and all that. You were using her account. They froze her account when she died, so now you have no fiat. Cool. Here's 200 to help you out. Here's 250 to help you out. And those Moors are doing that under, them wanted to help out a brother. They don't care about plates at that point. They haven't gotten any plates or anything like that. So, you know what I mean? What they got to lose? They're looking at this karmically. Help the brother out, because when a brother's in adversity, forsake him, forsake her not. You know what I mean? The covenant of the Asiatic nation. The covenant we're living. Forget divine constitution and all that stuff there. We're living by the covenant. You know what a covenant is? That's divine. So we're living by a covenant. Right? And the reason why I'm saying forget divine constitution and bylaws or whatever, because that stuff's been manipulated from parcel to partial and all that type of stuff. So that doesn't even have the power that it's supposed to have. So we're going to the next level up. The next level up, covenant of the Asiatic nation. And in the covenant, it tells Moors how they're supposed to deal with each other. It tells Moors how they're supposed to deal with each other. And when, Moors don't deal with me how they should be dealing with me as us being Moors, and then they're going to play the game like I'm violating some act in some divine constitution because I'm telling the truth about people being dirty with Moors who I know personally, you know what I mean? And you're trying to mess up my relationship that I have with Moors who I gave them your number. I gave the Moorish Jelani's number. So how does it look to me that, we're in the same society, right? We're in the same society. They're trying to do something. I'm giving them numbers to a Moor who I think is honorable, trustworthy, or whatever. He's collecting 2,000 fiat notes from them and not giving them anything that they ordered. And on top of that, trying to play big time, your national grand sheik and all that stuff and whatever like that. And we need to respect you, and you're going to hold out on our insurance, whatever that we paid for. You're going to hold out on our stuff and then claim that we're slandering. So it ends. Anybody who's talking about exercising right to travel, if you want to go get played by Jelani Bey and whoever else that works with him under this thing called Land and Transport Department, go right ahead and go get played, right? But we're letting you know that he played us. He punked us off. He didn't deal with us as Moors. He dealt with us like this is business. And what happens when you go to a business and you find hair in your food? You're not patronizing them no more. The patronage stops. So it stops. And we're putting it out there because I warned them, don't mess around. Give us back our fiat. You're not going to give our fiat back? All right. Anybody who's out there pushing right to travel, whatever like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, you hear the name Jelani Bey and you hear Land and Transport Department, know that those are money-hungry Moors that are going to rape your pockets because they got 2,000 from us. 2,000 for 2 plates, 4 cards, and an insurance policy that didn't even get set up yet. And they're talking about we're violating something. And anybody who supports them is down with them, you're just as dirty as them, and you get the same treatment that they're going to get. So get off the right to travel BS, right? Get off the, you want to not have a license and you want to, because you have a right to travel, you have a right to do this, you have a right to do that. You better start studying what Noble Drawley brought you. Noble Drawley didn't mention right to travel or none of that stuff. Right? Noble Drawley didn't mention anything about exercising specific rights. Noble Drawley told you go and uplift fallen humanity. Right to travel does not uplift fallen humanity. Claiming houses does not uplift fallen humanity. That just gets incompetent Moors arrested because they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, because their priorities are out of order. And why are we talking about this? Because let's put the dialogue on the record, just so you know what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with. And again, me personally, my Supreme Grand Sheikh is Noble Drew Ali. I don't have a Supreme Grand Sheikh because all these Moors out here that aren't active, that aren't faithful, that are following some reincarnated perspective are dirty, and they don't have any intentions of the people being free. Their job is to try to enslave their own. And unfortunately, Moors are going to suffer because of dirty Moors. Why? Because everybody likes to play unity. There's not unity amongst the Moors, so we're not going to talk bad about a Moor that robs us of $2,000. Well, yeah, but we're going to talk about Moors who jack us for $2,000 and not give us what we paid for, and then not only give us what we paid for, but give it to us a year later after we paid, and try to make it like, that's cool. That's normal protocol. That's not normal. And then making up all types of stuff as to why stuff can't get done, and bringing their grandma into stuff that you don't care about your grandma personally. Like, that has nothing to do with our business with you, as you call it, our business with you, right? Our franchising right to travel, right? Franchising, right? This is how they term it. What they're terming it as is we are franchising with them in order to have a land and transport department in Canaanland so we can exercise right to travel. Isn't franchising business? How is franchising have to do with our right? Our right, our constitutional right, which is inalienable, which cannot be sold, traded, bartered, or nothing like that. It's free. Noble Drew Ali told the Moors that it's free. Why? Because that right, just like sovereignty, that right comes from nationality, which is free. The right to travel that Moors do comes from nationality. Sovereignty comes from nationality. Not paying taxes comes from nationality. So there was dialogue that was going down, which is what even made what made this happen, right? What made this go down is because these Moors are complaining about we're stopping their money. because a sister came to me pushing land and transport department. So, I told the sister honestly, well, you know what I mean? Like, we're part of that. But, we haven't got no plates in 8 months, and we gave him 1,400. So, do whatever you want to do with that information. I'm just letting you know that we paid 1,400 to date, and we haven't gotten our stuff yet that they're saying that they're giving. So do whatever you want to do. So if she goes back, tells him or whatever like that, she ain't getting down with him because, according to Cujo, you know what I mean? You're not doing stuff. So if he's not doing his job that he claims that he's going to do, and then, put out there that he's doing means mention it. Because you're not doing your job. If you're doing your job, maybe I would have good things to say. If you would have sent your stuff when you said that you're going to send them, maybe you would be getting good reviews. But right now, you're getting the 1 star out of 10 right now. Land and Transport Department being ran by Jelani Bay and whoever else that he's down with or down with him, they're getting the Canaanland review of 1 star out of 10. So put that equivalent to anything else out there. Hotel, if you have a 1-star hotel, you're going to go there. If a restaurant has a 1-star status, you're going to go there. If you choose to go there, no problem. I mean, that's your business if you want to go there. We're just letting you know what our review is based on dealing with these individuals. Right? Because, it's about business. According to them. It's not what I say. According to them. It's not about rights or anything like that. This is about business according to them. Their business sucks. They have no customer service experience. You know what I mean? Their employees, you know what I mean, are incompetent. You know what I mean? So why is there any patronage going on? Our patronage stops, right? Been stopped, right? So we want to put on the record the dialogue that they're mad about, they're mad about dialogue, right? But they want to fess up and do what they're supposed to do. Okay? And anybody who's down with him, know that you're going to get yours. You know what I mean? Know that you're going to get yours. He got his. You know what I mean? What's this about? This is about love, truth, and justice, right? This is about, what is Raleigh doing this for? Right? Because this is about the heart chakra. Okay? Right? What happened to Jelani Bay? Just this week. And he's mad that we're calling it as we see it as metaphysicians. You know what I mean? You got chest pains, it started on the left of your body or whatever, and then it ended up in the middle of your chest. What's in the middle of your chest? Oh, okay. Maybe it's because all this dirt that you're doing in the name of Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Probably a bad name. Giving Moors a bad name under the guise of some title, national grand, whatever. How you a national grand sheep and you're talking about telling Moors $2,000 for some plates that cost 30 notes and some cards that, if we show you the cards, them cards ain't worth about $10. Right? And then want to get mad when the Moors that you raped call you out for being a rapist. You want to get mad? You can't get mad. You raped us. 2,000 notes. 2,000 notes. And Western Union fees and all that stuff. $40 per time that we send something. And there was like 3 years Western Union. So Western Union even made they ain't got nothing to do with this. making something off of this unless, you're working for them too. And you say that you don't work for the colonizer. And then you're going to call me out as, oh, you got a job working for the European and, you're a grand sheik and all that stuff. I don't hide that fact. Everybody knows I work for the school board. I don't hide that fact. I know I work for a European. I know I work for the colonizer. And I'm qualified to get paid. So, yeah, it's fiat. I need fiat to pay rent, whatever like that. You think I'm going to be like you dirty Moors and raping my people and making a livelihood off of Moorish birthright that Noble Drew Ali says free? You think I want the middle of my chest hurting? Not me, bro. Not me. That's why you never hear about me charging for anything. Anything that we charge for goes to the temple. Why? Because Drew Ali set it up like that. Anything, any fiat. I don't even make fiat off my own CDs that I put on the wall in the temple. I don't even make fiat off my own books. Everything that I get goes back into the pot to make sure Canaanland Moors have a place called Moorish Science Temple where people could come and learn the truth about their nationality and birthrights. Nowhere did I go. When I went to Louisiana, I didn't take a lecture fee for that. I'm not no lecturer. I'm just a member of the temple, just like anybody else. Don't get fascinated. I'm not titles or whatever like that, or grand this and call me grand sheik or whatever. I don't care about no grand sheik title. Never did I care about grand sheik title. I'm a grand governor. I'm a divine minister in Moorish American national government. Now, you don't hear me talk about no titles. This is not about titles. It's not about me having a status and my people suffering. If my people are suffering, then we're going to suffer together. If I'm rising, then we're going to rise together. But it's not going to be I'm rising and my people are suffering. That's why I'm in the trenches. That's why I have a job. So I can engage my people. Because if I just leave it to having a fez on and standing on a corner or having Moorish Science Temple, have people walking in there, they're not walking in there. Just one of the Moors called me today. He went to this place out here called Center Island, and he's talking to a little sister who's talking about, she's 22 or whatever, and she's talking about, yeah, she listens to Taj Tariq Bey and she knows about Moors. She's 22. And he just met her just, because the Moors in the trenches. No fez on, nothing like that. Still a Moor. Talking about birthrights to people. Whether he's on the train, whether he's on the bus, whether he's on the street, you see some youths going to smoke weed, he's going to go stand with them and have some nationality and birthrights conversations with them. That's just how he gets down. He's not asking for no handout. He's not asking them to give you $5 to let us put you on to some knowledge to save your life. And and the problem with the Moorish movement is dishonorable Moors. That's the problem with the Moorish movement. Don't talk about this doesn't work and whatever like that. The problem with this movement is dishonorable Moors. And the bigger problem with this movement is when Moors engage dishonorable Moors, they shut their mouth and they don't talk about it under some unity BS. How are you going to have unity with traitors? How are you going to have unity with traitors? You really think that you're going to have unity with traitors? So let's get this little dialogue thing on the record and get this thing done with, because, we're warning Moors. It's only Moors that's been raping. Don't get mad at this European. European's doing what he has to do to survive. It's Moors. How come there's no unity hall? Moors lost unity hall. Moors lost it. Why? Because they didn't study what Noble Drew Ali brought. They're playing follower games. You'll put out all these letters about Kirkland Bay Givens. You have Kirkland Bay Moors still today going on Saw Netter, and of course he's going to plug them because they're the dirty Moors. Yeah, they got some historical information, but their successorship is Kirkman Bay. And what's he going to do? He's going to put those Moors on there, right? Yeah, they got paper products and whatever, thanks. I mean, thanks for making toilet paper. I mean, thanks for making tissue. We appreciate the work that you're doing as Moors trying to be active, right? But he's going to put them on the channel called Black News 101, not the Saw Netter Studios or whatever. And they don't see that as punking you. We're going to put you on the Black News channel as Moors. And they're going to be on there talking about it doesn't matter. It's all about unity. Let's just unite. How are you going to unite with stateless people and get anywhere? That's the most asinine shit I ever heard. Unite with stateless and talk about unity when they don't have a state. Find me a Chinese that connects with stateless people. Find me a Hindustani that connects with stateless people. Find me somebody who's a national of every landmass that goes around trying to unite with people who are stateless, who are civilly dead. And make sure you post them, do the little interview, put out your camera phone, interview them about them supporting statelessness. Find me somebody that supports statelessness. The UN doesn't even support statelessness. And they're corporate. And you're telling me about unite with Negro, black, colored people? When it doesn't matter, you know what they mean when they say black power. They're talking about unity amongst our people. No, they're not talking about unity amongst their people. They're talking about European supremacy when they say black power. Black means pale. Pale power. Pale supremacy. That's what they're about. And Moors with fezzes on, they're not correcting that. They're going to go with that. Think because somebody says more power that, yeah, they're down with something. How about proclaim your nationality? How about that? How about all you Negro, black, colored, conscious coons out there? Stop playing around and proclaim your nationality. We've been played by Moors. Moors played us. Not Europeans. Moors. Moors who we thought were honorable played us. 2,000 for some plates to start up a land and transport department that nothing's going on. But we're violating something. But they got 2,000 that they never gave back. We'll gladly send the plates back. But what do you say? But this is not about money and all that stuff. This is about, their council said something that they're gonna issue something and all that stuff. Whatever is founded in color remains in color. Whatever is founded in dishonesty and unloyalty stays there. So they can issue anything that they want. It's going in one ear and out the other from now on. With regard to those Moors. Land and Transport Department Boards under the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, corrupting that. That's so pure, but now they're corrupting that. Moorish Science Temple, but now they're trying to corrupt Moorish Holy Temple of Science now. And remember, Noble Drew Ali said, this is your divine and national movement. This is yours. So if you want to let people come in there and corrupt your stuff, you go right ahead. But we're not even playing those. We'll call out everybody that's doing some dirt to Moors, especially if you do dirt to us. We got proof that you did dirt to us. We'll just put it out there. So this is the email that Jelani Bay sent. When your boss stops slandering my name, this is the third call I got about this broadcast last night, and I'm going to myself. Also, I have in my possession the actual text he sent to another sister, warning her and telling her not to deal with me, and how long it took to get situations straightened out with Brother Omar, and offered to give his number for verification of what he said. What kind of blood clot fuckery is that? I'm in the hospital due to karma for charging as much as I do. I sent you the pictures so that you knew my situation was for real, not to be made a mockery. Is this how Moors do? Yes, this is how Moors do when they get jammed for $2,000 and don't get anything. Clearly games getting run. And we're not playing no game. Sorry. We're not playing no games. Right? Just remember too, just got the text. Oh, I'll put that on there. Everything is set up and fully functional. It is your wish to have insurance. This is an option and not mandatory for business to move on. It is your preference. Why is it our preference? Because out here, it's $5,000 ticket if you don't have insurance, whether you're exercising right to travel or not. So why would we not protect our property in case we hit somebody that we have insurance that's going to cover that? Why am I going to pay out of pocket exercising right to travel, run into somebody? It happens. It just happens. Why not have insurance? Insurance isn't evil. Nothing's wrong with insurance. Why not protect our property with insurance? Because, there's no treasury in the Moorish movement. So don't think that you can go to some Moor, that some grand, supreme, whatever, that they're going to be helping you out in paying off this guy's Benz that you just ran into. You're going to pay out of pocket for that. Or have insurance. Let insurance cover it. Now you don't have to worry about it. You go about your business, do what you do. Just like more and say, I keep getting no seatbelt tickets. So, I'm going to exercise my right to travel so I can not wear a seatbelt freely. You're a goddamn idiot. You're the only one going through the windshield if you don't wear a seatbelt. Why would you not wear a seatbelt? Because you can exercise right to travel, you're not wear a seatbelt. That's stupid talk. Just like this clown. Everything's already set up. We don't need insurance. You might not need insurance. No, because we don't need insurance, but the insurance that he was going to set up for us, he's putting his name on it. Why are you putting your name on it? Why is your name on it? If that's our insurance for our jurisdiction of Land and Transport Department, why is your name on it? Unless you're trying to get some insurance too. But I thought, you don't need insurance. I thought this thing's already set up or whatever. And insurance is mandatory. But you're going to put your name on our insurance though. Why? Why don't you just put the people up here's name on it, send us the paperwork, we sign it, we send it back down, and then we have insurance. Since you have the connection on the insurance, like why is your name on it? Oh, so you can get in again and get some more fiat through the insurance now. Right? Dirty Moors. Talk about I'm slandering somebody. 2,000 you got from us, and I'm slandering? I'm slandering when you got 2,000, and we still never got everything that and then we're saying give back the fiat, and you're saying it's not about fiat? So the slander coming from your camp is hindering me from my livelihood, right? So again, once you get with Moors who don't have a job, right? The Grand Sheikh Nature, he drives a truck for a living, right? It's a Moorish truck, but he has a job. So the Seton Rabe, he has a job. He drives a truck for a living. He's not out here making fiat off Moors. Brother Taj Tariq Bey, he has a job. He's a carpenter or whatever. He builds stuff and fix stuff, and that's his job. He's not making fiat off Moors. He's not living off Moors. When you get Moors living off you, stop dealing with them because they're raping you. Because this is not about living off our people. This is not about vampiring our people for fiat dollars for them to whatever, right? Ain't no different than when we said, we want to bring Phil Valentine here, and he's telling us 7,000. 7,000? And then you want to know why you lose your house and stuff like that. Because Karma's a bitch, and she does not play when you go against the principles. That you know that the principles are there. If you say that you're more and you have a fez on, and you have a nationality card and you have a title, you know about the principles, and you're not going to deal with the principles, you're going to do everything to sidestep the principles and then talk about more than slandering somebody. You hold back people in Canaanland and slander me to the rest of the Moorish world so they won't do business with me. This is honorable. I have been put on 48-hour bed rest and given pain and muscle relaxers. I thought you don't deal with the European. I bet you a European gave you that. I bet you. I bet you the European hospital that you went to, right? But you don't deal with European though. I mean, you don't deal with the European. You don't have no job. Who's violating because he has a job with the European, but you're taking muscle relaxers and whatever from some European corporation. I bet. Hypocrites. The slander started at 37 minutes, and this is the second time, trying to equate setting up a corporation with an individual's constitutional right to travel. Toot your horn. This don't have anything to do with birthright. I've been silent too long. I still have not seen plates for $15. How much does RV Bay charge for a card? $7? No, they charge 50 notes. Why they charge 50 notes? Because the machine that they got out of their own pocket costs 5,000 in order to print the card, and they have a right to tell you 50 notes for a card that you're gonna have for life when you proclaim it to them. So don't try to play like RV Bay is raping people. 50 notes is nothing compared. Even if you said 50 notes for the plates, we wouldn't have gave you 2,000. Those plates we could get for 2,000 at 50 notes, but you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? You got to get your cut out of what we said. You got to skim off the top, right? As soon as more start skimming off the top, know that they're playing and they're about selling this birthright, which Noble Drew Ali said is free. So they're violating the prophet. Forget about I violated the divine constitution or whatever like that. You are violating the prophet. That's way worse violation than, you know what I mean, me violating some act in some constitution. I am 51, no job from the European, and been that way since 2006, working day and night for the Moorish movement. You're not working day and night for the Moorish movement. You're working day and night for yourself, clearly, because I sent you 2,000 notes. And if this was about the Moorish movement, there's no way that we would have been charged 2,000 notes and paying this and paying that, and you not doing stuff until we send the money for whatever. If you're for the Moorish movement, you're for yourself and whoever else you work with, right? I put it out there. Put it out there. Right? Now, remember, you're working day and night for the Moorish movement, right? I have never charged anyone 1,200. That's a lie. The complications with everything has been taken care of. So stop spreading that as a lie. It is in the past. My shit has been together since 2011 with this corporation. My fucking corporation. My corporation. Just like Umar Johnson, my school. That's why he lost a million. Because he's not doing nothing for his people. He was going to take that million and he was going to go wherever with you guys' fiat. Thank God for the stripper. If the stripper didn't open her mouth, you guys would be going to Umar's school. And your children's minds getting raped by teaching them that they're black boys. said in the beginning, Allah is the best of planners. And yeah, Moors are pissed that they shell out so much fiat. But on the other side, this is a divine occurrence. And when divine occurrence happens, we embrace those. And we take the licks with a smile. Take your licks with a smile. Because we know that I learned something from this. I learned something from this. Oh yeah, that girl at my work, yeah, she got me pissed off today, but I actually had a good conversation with this manager that nobody likes. I got something from this. Even though she pissed me off, things still worked out good. Even though we got hit 2,000, it was a good thing. Let us know that we need to start doing for ourselves. Let us know that when 1 and 1 equals 5 continuously, you should probably consider that as a warning. You learned a lot from this situation. So much. The more said he never charged anyone $1,200. The brother sent me screenshots. This is to Brother Casanova Bay, master of the screenshots. But Brother Amazite Bay sent me the screenshots of the conversation that he had with John Bay about him saying that, oh, well, because you're nationalized, $750, we'll give you a deal. We'll knock off, saying, we'll knock off a 500 from that, give you a deal, and give you 700 for his birthright. That's direct travel. Remember, this is his corporation, but he's working for the Moorish movement, but it's his effing corporation. But he's working for the Moorish movement. And the last thing I want to go into is his minion that he sent. Minion by Cobra Assassin on YouTube. Leaving comments on my stuff. Same video where I initially called him out for this interview. So this is what his minion, his so-called Grand Mufti, whatever, Grand Chief, whatever, his dirty Moorish Holy Temple of Science had to say on my stuff, right? My videos, right? And then Cujo ROL, Islamism, beloved. I hate beloved. Hate it. Anybody tell me about beloved already? Freaking, gates going up. All the ching, 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 ching. All the freaking protection mechanisms goes into place as soon as somebody says beloved. Immediately. My question to you is, why are one sending shots at our national Grand Chief? He's not my national Grand Chief. He's your national Grand Chief. Cobra Assassin. L Bay, whatever your name is. I know you can put L after Cobra and talk about that's some free national name or whatever. Who has been on the front lines longer than most of the YouTube gurus been on YouTube? But what bothers me is that you are in direct violation of Act 3 of the Constitution and bylaws, and I would appreciate you not putting our family business on YouTube. That should be something spoke about in private. No, you guys robbed us 2,000. We're not talking about nothing in private. That's not private business anymore. To rob somebody. When McDonald's is doing fraud and selling human meat in their burgers, somebody is going to make that public. Because what's human meat doing in burgers? And if you wanted this to be so private, your same National Grand Chief has my email. Why wouldn't you just initially send this in an email? Why are you posting this on a video on YouTube? What if this is so private? Why even go there in the first place? Why not just initially send an email? Send a message in the Facebook Messenger or whatever. Why are you posting as a comment? Obviously, you don't want this to be private. Obviously, you want to try to make it seem like, we're violating acts or whatever. When for years we've been telling you more. You're not telling me I'm violating nothing if I have 700 videos and we have a newspaper and I have books and I've been back in Noble Joie start based on the principle. You're not going to get me with no, I'm violating anything. It's a good try though, but don't try that crap with me. I'm not one of these little softies pudding ones. I'm not there. Right? I back the prophet 100%. Always have and always will. And none of you Moors. I don't care if I have Grand Chief title or not. I don't care if I have a charter or not. I'm still going to be doing this work to make sure that word gets out. Period. Period. Wise Cobra L. So wise. Call yourself Cobra though. So wise. And then on top of that, you're Cobra Assassin. You're a Cobra Assassin now? You're G.I. Joe or something? You're a Cobra Assassin. You work for G.I. Joe. You know G.I. Joe is a U.S. corporation. If you're a Cobra Assassin, then that means you kill Cobras. And if you kill Cobras, then that means you're G.I. Joe. If you're G.I. Joe, that means you're a U.S. corporation. Mechanism. As soon as it said beloved, I already knew what was coming. You didn't have to read anymore. And then it's supposed to be private, but it continues on. How about you get in tune with me on my inbox? Because I'm not understanding what you mean, because what I know is contradictory to what you are saying. And I'm not going to discuss house business in public. I would ask you respectively to do the same, and that's officials demonstrating there are many ways, there are many things that I know that I'm sure you are not aware of, and such as what's what and who's who. Peace and love. This is the second message. After he initially posted the first message about keep it private, he's gonna come again. Now he comes again. After. Right? Yes, I'm replying to this stuff in public because you know what I mean? Like, where's my 2,000? Not even mine. Where's the $2,000 you guys jack out here? You're not gonna give that back? All right, then this is public. I'm not playing any games anymore. Who knows me knows I don't play games. And no, I do not have your number, but you have Chief Jelani's number. I have been with this house for a long time, and I will not stand for any BS from you or anyone else. Have you claimed to be an official, yet as a Negro Saxon? This is not the body politic of slaves, but of freemen who are upright, independent, and fearless. And in the future, if you are going to wear the crown of a mufti while dealing with the measures of truth, come with chapter and verse. We don't play more science for YouTube. This is our lives. We've been on the battlefield here, beloved, and I have to come to you with nothing but respect, but seems that one still care to come from the lower self with folly. If we supposed to be in the same house, why are you bad-mouthing our GNS? Or is there another agenda at work here? And for future reference, the conversation price is not 1,200. That is complete lies, Mo. Right? But that's another one. As soon as they say Mo to me, all the mechanisms go into place because I know that they're because nobody could tell me that. Show me where Noble Drew Ali told Moors to call each other Mo. We already showed you in the book that that comes from the prison Moors, Mo. That comes from the El Rockin Moors, Mo. Ask that bro you got that info from the truth, and I'm sure he will be forthcoming. I will hope we can settle this like freemen because the bigger picture is we are at war and UK is a big difference. So you dissing what we're doing in Canaanland, but you know you're gonna take our 2,000 though. We're just kicking it. You know what I mean? You're at war and you're doing the work, you know what I mean? With this war that you're in against this European, but you know, in Canaanland, we're just kicking more science. We're not exercising on it. We're just frivolous with this. And you expect me to accept that you respect us and all that freaking um, placation that you're doing? Don't placate Canaanland. We built this out here. We built this. Nobody built this for us out here because ain't nobody out here but us. We built this out here. So for Moors to placate with Canaanland, like we haven't paid our dues, you're tripping. Now we're not in this for no popularity contest. This is not popularity stuff to us. This is redeem our people because that's what Noble Drew Ali ordered us to do. And that's what we will do until our last breath, until we're cremated or in the casket. We are going to do what we have to do out here in order to wake up our people, which we are doing. And we are not only waking up people in our jurisdiction, we are waking up people all around the world. And again, Amazite Bey, that's the brother who showed me the screenshots of the conversation of the 1200. So don't tell me that I'm lying, because I trust Amazite Bey before I trust some of you dirty ones with your title. Because these guys are going to call me on the phone and say, yo, Kujo, you know this more Jelani Bay or whatever? Yeah, I'm trying to get some, right to travel stuff from him, you know what I mean? It sounds good, it looks good, you know what I mean? He told me 1,200, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna go, and get this thing going on. Brother Amazat, you pay 500 for that? What do you mean 500? Yeah, we paid 500. Hold on a second. I'll call you back. And we're playing, right? But I didn't want to beat up on Cobra Assassin right now because it's getting late. We got work to do tomorrow at the temple. We got our class with Grand Chief Nature tomorrow. I'm going to be bringing up some of this stuff, you know what I mean? Just to get his perspective on, titles, Moorish movement, you know what I mean? People say that, you know what I mean? And see what his perspective is on $2,000 for plates and cards. So I want to say Islam to all the Moors, peace, love, and hotep. I know for a long while there was 22 viewers. I see you just jumped to 27. Recognize that, again, it's like Brother Omar said, Prophet said, be careful, it's your own brother that's going to put you in slavery. Don't get mad at me. That's what Noble Drew Ali said. Noble Drew Ali said, be careful, because it's your own brother that's going to put you in slavery. And what else did he say? If the European helped me, why not you? Because this is a Rotarian movement. means this is humanitarian. That you're not supposed to get paid for this. I think PETA's getting paid when they go, put their little thing in front of ocean liner to try to save the seals. They don't get paid for that. They're doing that. Heart truck. Employ Moors to do the same. Take all those dirty Moors as an example. Go against the Prophet and Allah. You want to make up stuff and talk about, what I mean, you're starting, you're gonna say, yeah, this is the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, but you're gonna call that your corporation when you're using the Prophet stuff, and then you want fiat on top of that. Islam to all the Moors, peace, love, and hotep. Study this if you want. It's up to you, whatever. But no class tomorrow, but we will have an upload by the nighttime. Our classes with Great Seal, Moorish Science Temple of America, Temple number 10, Grand Chief Nature, will be posted online. Once again, peace and love to all the Moors. Have a good night.